Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Ro. Here in Studio B, here to engage, enlighten, and entertain with the Big Petty, Brendan Haywood, NBA champion, the Hall of Famer, two-time champion, Isiah Thomas, and we've just witnessed the Jazz go up 2-0 against the Clippers on their own home floor, setting an tying a franchise record with 20 made three-pointers. It was an amazing performance again by Donovan Mitchell. Just seeing what happened in this game. Let's just focus on Donovan Mitchell, and we're going to keep you posted on everything that's going on. We saw him turn his ankle late in the game. He had that right ankle injury towards the end of the season that caused him to miss a number of games. But just looking at how the Jazz got this victory, B. Wood, what did you see and what did you like?
Well, I just saw the Jazz. They first of all, they came out, they were riding Donovan Mitchell. He was ready. This team, not just Donovan Mitchell. And I love the resiliency of this squad. Resilient
as well. And Zeke, you spoke on it earlier. You've been very impressed with how Donovan Mitchell's been playing. I asked you, do you think he could sustain this level of play, outside of injury? He's done that so far. Again, as I mentioned, 37 points tonight. Again, performing at a superstar level for number 45.
I mean, absolutely, he can sustain it. I mean, he's been this way since high school, in college at Louisville. I mean, he's a great one-on-one player. One of the best one-on-one players that's ever come into our league. And now when you're playing defense the way you're playing, where the offensive player really gets to hunt the defensive player that he wants to guard him. I mean, Mitchell is again just an exceptional one-on-one player, and he's proven it again tonight. And I think he'll continue to prove it throughout this series.
Yes, 13th playoff game scoring 30 or more. His 6th career playoff game scoring 35 or more. So no doubt in rare air right now. But we know this Jazz team likes to shoot the three. 6 straight games of making at least 17 three-pointers. The last 3 games, they've made 19. In this one, they tie a playoff franchise record with 20. Just speak about their ability to knock down the three and do it at such a high clip consistency.
Well, that's been their calling card all year long, is that they want to get on the perimeter, they want to spread you out, and then they want to drive the ball to the paint. And then once their feet touch the paint, Rudy sets that screen and it causes a problem, and then they get downhill. It becomes a really tough way to guard these guys, because now you're in rotations. Or you can do what the Clippers do. You can switch 1 through 5. And when you start making those switches, they say, okay, now we attack the mismatch, and they still get downhill because Donovan Mitchell, to Zeke's point, is just picking out who he wants to guard him. Like, let me see, I'll get you, and then I'll take you downhill, and then he'll just attack the basket.
Speaking of attack the basket, we talked about Donovan Mitchell. And another thing, Zeke, I asked you in the pregame, we were discussing the defense of the Clippers, those perimeter defenders. We know that they have the accolades, all defensive performers, when you talk about Paul George, when you talk about Kawhi Leonard. However, they still allowed Donovan Mitchell to go over 35. What was your assessment of the Clippers and their defensive scheme tonight?
I mean, again, Mitchell is an exceptional offensive player. And, they're also missing Conley right now. So you have, with Utah, you have 2 guys that can break you down defensively and get to the paint. And when they get to the paint, then they got 3-point shooters out on the perimeter, but they're not reluctant to take mid-range shots, and they're not reluctant to take layups. So consequently, it puts your defense at a tremendous disadvantage. So when the Clippers downsize and they have no rim protection, that just leaves Mitchell to really drive to the basket and score around the basket. And then when Rudy comes back in, he's so big and dominant around the basket that he can get tap-ins and second shots. And Ingles is probably the most confident player that you ever want to see in a basketball player, because he believes in his game. He's a big shot taker and a big shot maker. And most people go to sleep on Joe, but don't sleep on Ingles, because he's one of the best offensive players from the three-point line, and his confidence is never wavering.
Yeah. We know that he definitely has that confidence. Knocked down 4 threes. Paul Pierce, and I don't think that he's on live right now. This is just a tweet that he posted.
I hope he's not on live.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a good idea. That didn't end well.
Can't show that.
Nah, you can't. Not on this network. Shaq lit a fire under Spider Mitchell. I can see he's referencing when earlier in the season inside the NBA had Spider Mitchell on in a post-game interview, and, Shaq said, you haven't done anything. And I'm just paraphrasing. But, Donovan just said, okay. And pretty much he's answered the challenge. And Shaq, I FaceTimed you to tell you again you were wrong about Donovan Mitchell. Answer your phone when I call you. But your assessment, seeing Paul Pierce's tweet, B. Wood.
Well, Donovan Mitchell, even before that, had proved that he was an up-and-coming superstar in this league. Like, this guy's playoff scoring average is 28 points per game. So I'm not sure how much more the big fella wanted Donovan Mitchell to do. But last year they lost to the Denver Nuggets in a series where Bogdanovich didn't play. And Bogdanovich was averaging, like, I want to say 18 or 19 points per game last season. So him not being able to go into the bubble, that's part of the main reason that they lost that series, not Donovan Mitchell. We saw Donovan Mitchell as a young pup in this league come in there and beat Russ, Paul George, and Carmelo in Oklahoma. So he's
29. Zeke, do you have any comments on the tweet of Paul Pierce addressing Shaq and Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah, I think you always want the approval of your peers and also the alumni, because truly, those are the judges. The fans and everyone else have their opinions, but the alumni, those are the real judges because they know what the real is. And Mitchell right now, and I thought he and Jamal Murray last year in the bubble, those two stepped up and let it be known that, hey, they were here, they were serious players, and they wanted to be acknowledged. And although Murray is hurt this year, I think Mitchell, what he's doing in the playoffs is just, putting everyone on notice that, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm real, and it's time for you to acknowledge my realness.
Indeed. Love the way the NBA is going. It's in good hands. You think about Ja Morant, you think about Tatum, you think about Luka, Trae Young, Booker, Spider Mitchell.
Oh, yeah. Man, hey, NBA got some good young stars. Hey, listen, guys like LeBron are getting up there in age, Chris Paul, even Kevin Durant, as great as he is, he's, 32? So, like, we have some of our great players in this league. Steph Curry, they're in their early to mid-30s. And what we're going to see in the next 3 to 4 years is we're going to see a shift. As those older guys start to phase out, we're going to see those young guys that you just named step up and really take control of the league.
Yeah, they're going to take the torch and they're going to burn people with it. So
yes.
Can't wait to see that. Love this game. But in the meantime, we're going to go to Ty Lue, the head coach of the Clippers. He is at the podium.
I wanted to check on Nico's a little lower than usual. Is that just a coaching decision, or is there something with an injury or fatigue, anything going on with him?
No, just coach's decision.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move over to Tomer.
Ty, you guys really hung in there despite their strong start, their strong shooting in the third quarter. But where did this game kind of get away from you guys in your eyes? But what was really the difference here?
Just the first half. You can't dig yourself a hole like that against a good team, and then you got to expend all the energy trying to get back in the game. And, you don't have enough to finish, so, you just can't dig holes like that, especially on the road, and playing from behind like that. And we talked about getting off to good starts. And, once again, Donovan Mitchell got them off to a great start, and they just kind of took off from there.
We'll move over to Law.
Ty, you guys went to that zone and disrupted Donovan's rhythm, and the fourth quarter, you guys took the lead, but then the Jazz hit those 3 threes. So what do you feel like is the bigger challenge, disrupting Donovan or just playing against a team that they have so many shooters and it's just tough to match up a zone for too long because they'll find those shooters?
No, first of all, just taking the challenge one-on-one against Donovan, getting to the paint, making plays. So we got to do a better job of closing out to the other guys and keeping them under control.
Do you feel like you found something in that third quarter once you switch things up?
Yeah, we found something, but we just gotta like I said, we just gotta take the challenge, one-on-one. That starts right there, and then after that we can start building from there. But I like what I saw. Resilience, like I said, fighting back to take the lead, had some great shots down the stretch that we just didn't make, and they made them. So just going back to the drawing board, watch the film, and see what we can get better at.
We'll move over to
Ty, you've been here down 2-0, obviously the last series. What was your message to the team after tonight's game?
No message. I really don't talk after the game. So just bring it in. Let's go. We're going back home.
We'll move over to Justin Rousseau.
Hey, Coach, I was just wondering, after Reggie hits that three to give you guys the lead, you guys pretty much don't really make any shots for like the next 4 minutes. Were you happy with the shot quality that you guys got going down there?
Yes, I was happy. Very happy. What else can you get? 4 or 5 wide open threes, we just didn't make. So we knew Rudy was going to help. We knew our shooters was going to be open. And we just got to step up and make shots. If we don't, we just got good shots and we didn't make them. So hopefully next game they'll go down.
Thanks.
Okay, move over to Cameron Buford.
Hey, good evening, Coach. I want to ask you, you held true to your word at the beginning of the game. You said you wanted to keep your rotations down to 10 men. Each of those guys played double digits except Terrence Mann. Is everything okay with Terrence? Why didn't he see more time in this game?
Because he was out of the rotation for right now.
Okay, we'll move over to Andrew.
You talked yesterday about being wary of driving into that paint when Rudy's in there. But tonight it seemed like the best offense you guys got was from those drives and spraying out. What did you see from the effort of the way you guys generated offense off your drives in the paint?
We just talked about it all series. We know when we attack, if Rudy's guarding, Steph Curry, he's going to help. So our guys have to be ready to shoot the basketball, and we got to make the right play. And I thought, like especially going down the stretch, the guys executed it well. We got some great looks, and we just didn't make. So I'm happy with that. Hopefully going home, we can be able to knock some shots down.
It will close out with Peter Ortiz.
Hi, Coach Peter Ortiz on Fire Media. Mitchell scored 45 and 37 in the past 2 games. Are you planning to put either Kawhi or PG as full-time defenders on him?
Yes, that's what we tried to do tonight as well. I thought Pat Beverly came in, gave us a good lift, and got into him a little bit, pressured him, got into his handle. So it's going to be a variety of guys, but we got to just take the challenge one-on-one, and then when we guard the ball one-on-one, it makes our team defense even better. Y'all have a nice night. Thank you.
We will do that. That is Ty Lue. Now we go to Quinn Snyder. They are 4-1 against the Clippers this season.
Quinn, obviously, you guys got a little bit stagnant, and the Clippers kind of surged ahead. You speak to just what turned around when you guys went on that 14-2 run down the stretch of the fourth quarter.
Well, when they played zone, I thought our spacing broke down. And anytime you're not spaced, it's tough to move the ball. So we've been very good against zone over the course of the year, but I thought that affected us mentally. But more than anything, we stopped getting stops, and then we're not able to push the ball up the court and play instinctively. And that was, give them credit that they were converting. We weren't very efficient on offense, and that's usually it hurts your defense, and it did. So as much as anything, in my mind, it's what we did after that that was really good, and that we took a punch, and we were able to kind of collect ourselves, and obviously got stops late, played really good defense late, and then we did keep running, which is hard to do. I think we were a little fatigued as well.
Sarah Todd, Deseret News.
Quinn, you knew that you were going to need a little bit more out of Joe tonight. What did you see out of him in that fourth quarter?
Well, I think I've been answering a lot of questions about Joe and JC, and I think their play kind of reinforced who they are. Not that anybody needed to know that. They didn't have to prove anything, but it wasn't just, anytime we need a bucket, he's able to generate something. So I'd like to see us keep moving the ball more. I think that's crucial for us, no matter who's creating, particularly because they're so long. But both Joe and JC obviously, played a huge role tonight.
Tony Jones, The Athletic.
Just kind of piggybacking off of that, how important was it? Donovan was obviously fatigued down the stretch and not 100%. So how important was it for
Bojan's defense, Joe make an important shot, Royce to make an important shot, just to kind of take some possessions off of Donovan down the stretch.
Well, that's what we've been doing all year, and I think Donovan understands how to pick his spots. And we all have confidence in those other guys shooting the ball. It's tough when they pressure as much as they did at certain times because it really makes you work. But what Bojan did tonight should not go unnoticed. I mean, he epitomized what when you talk about a warrior. The way that he played on both ends of the floor, and he always seems to want the ball when at the important times in the game. And Royce is another guy that makes big shots. So that's how we've played. That's who we are. Guys trusting each other and playing for each other, and it doesn't matter who's on the back end of the possession. I think our guys have confidence that those shots are going to get taken, and we're going to make more than we miss.
And Anderson, KSLSports.com.
Quinn, your identity has been pretty solid throughout the season, and that was the idea of bringing everyone back from last year. Did you see that playing off as kind of Donovan Mitchell trailed off towards the end, and you just had the next answer with Joe?
Well, I really think our identity is grown throughout the season. I think that there was a seed planted last spring, and the way that our team has come together in the bubble, I thought that was a big thing for us. But having an identity is something that you create an identity by doing something over and over and over again. And that takes time. And then when you get in these types of environments, when there's a team that's as good as the Clippers are trying to take stuff away from you, that's even more difficult. So I'm proud of our team, the way we played. We know we're playing against a team. They were down 0-2 in their last series and came back and won it. So we don't get too high, don't get too low, and keep trying to play the way that we know we have to play and adjust where we need to. But I think our guys are together, and we're not going to be perfect. We didn't get any offensive rebounds tonight. We turned it over more. So there's a bunch of things we can do better. But like I said, I thought we were resilient tonight, and we were mentally tough.
And McMahon, ESPN.com.
Quinn, Donovan's obviously shot the ball really well in this series so far, but he's also gotten up a lot of shots. How has he been able to generate so many good looks when obviously the Clippers are doing everything they can to keep him from doing that?
Well, I think it starts with his aggressiveness in transition. There's shots that we as a group know that we want to take, and I think our guys being able to identify them and shoot them with confidence without hesitation. So whether he's shooting the ball off the dribble and pick and roll, a lot of credit goes to Rudy. There's a lot of times that Rudy springs in for those shots. I think guys running, when guys do run, there's seams for Donovan to attack. You saw that really early in the game when he's able to get to the rim. And then there's other guys, we have other playmakers on our team where Don can space, and I think that's something that that he's gotten more and more locked in on, that oftentimes if he's just spaced and ready, those catch and shoot threes are really good shots, and he's got such tremendous range that he can really rise up. So I think he's really, his shot selection, his shot profile, he's picked his spots. He's taking shots that are open, whether that be pulling up and hitting the mid-range or getting to the rim, or shooting it off a catch and shoot three, shooting it off the dribble. And our guys know who he is, and he knows who he is. And I think the biggest thing that Donovan's done, frankly, is just compete. And that's something that he brings every night. He just wants to win, and he competes, and good things happen when that's the case.
Rebecca Harlow, TNT.
Hey, Coach, just getting back to Bojan, he's so prolific on the offensive side of the ball. I feel like that's what we talk about all the time, but his effort defensively tonight was so outstanding. Do you feel like he deserves more credit for what he does defensively? And can you just talk to me about the impact that he's made for your team on that end of the floor?
He's, he had to go back and he was very matter of fact that it's the playoffs and he's ready and he's locked in, and that's what you've seen. So he's one of the more competitive guys that I've ever been around, and that translates to both ends of the floor. It doesn't show up as much on the defensive end. It's not as noticeable, I should say, but certainly in this series with those two guys that are, not just all-star players, but a couple of the very best players in the league. It's hard, it's hard to contain, if anything, and I just like the way he's competing, and obviously it's important to him, and he knows how much we need him to win, and that's what matters to him the most.
David James, KOTV.
You mentioned the fatigue factor kind of late in the game there, Quinn, and you played one guy 41 minutes, a couple other guys 39. It's worked, you're up 2-0, but is that sustainable going forward, or given the every other day nature of the schedule, are you going to have to loosen the rotation a little bit?
I think it's game to game. If you were to go ahead and look at box scores across the course of the playoffs with different teams, I think, it's pretty common that rotations shorten a bit and that guys' minutes go up. So, when you see a guy like Royce playing 40, but you also see, you see Kawhi playing 39, PG playing 43. So a lot of that stuff's matchup related, but there's no question, that you're gonna need everybody to contribute, and that's something our team's been able to do during the course of the year. And even if it's not for extended minutes, I think, in these types of games, the level that the games are played on, if someone can come in and, make a couple plays, get an offensive rebound, get a stop, hit a shot, even in a short stretch, that gives everybody a big lift.
All right, time for one last question. Julie Jack, Salt Lake Tribune.
Hey, Coach, can you talk a little bit about just the spark that Jordan Clarkson brought out tonight and his play in general?
Yeah, he's capable at any time of stringing possessions. That's why he's the sixth man of the year, because he's able to come in and make those types of plays, particularly late in the shot clock. You're on a little bit of a dry spell. It just seems like he tends to be the guy that gets you a bucket when you need it, and I think he takes great pride in that. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the fact that he's really locked in defensively as well, and frankly I think that helps him being equally focused on both ends.
Great, thank you so much, Coach. Appreciate it.
Welcome back, Donovan Mitchell and the Utah Jazz. The Jazz have not lost with him in the lineup in the playoffs. Let's take a listen.
Donovan, a couple of things. I was wondering if you're feeling okay. There was a couple of plays that a collision with PG late in the game. It looked like you got banged up. One earlier that looked like you might have pulled something. How are you feeling? And then additionally, you just talked to me about Bojan's defense on Kawhi.
He's going to do what he does offensively, and his energy and his force. And obviously we have Royce and Rudy who are our star defenders. But when you have a guy like Bojan and JC that we're all picking up, that gives us a boost. And that's really what changed the complexion of the game.
Eric Walden, Salt Lake Tribune.
Hey, Don, so you checked out midway through the fourth, and then, some of the other guys start stepping up, whether it's, Joe hitting the layup, Royce hitting the three. Can you just speak to the confidence you had in the other guys as they were able to kind of take things under, into their hands and go on that momentum shifting run?
I got the utmost confidence in the world. I think we all do. I think the fans, I think y'all do too. When y'all see it, we get out there and we're gonna have rough stretches. It's gonna happen. We missed 21 straight game one, and then we couldn't buy a bucket this game when they went to zone. So it's gonna happen. I think the big one, shots aren't falling, and I think that's the biggest thing for us is continuing to take it step by step. And as far as trust goes, I think we all trust each other to the maximum level, and that's why we play the way we play.
Tony Jones, The Athletic.
what are some of the adjustments? I mean, everybody talks about, the team that's down making the adjustments, but what are some of the adjustments that you guys can make heading into Game 3?
The one that's obvious is that we play against the zone. Got stagnant. It slowed us up, and credit to Tyloo and the staff for doing that. But we haven't played against zone in a long time. And for us to just find ways to get into the paint and do what we've been doing. And then on top of that, we won't get any stops. So we got to continue to get stops and do what got us up 21 or 19 or whatever it was. So I think that's really a big thing for us. Continue to move the ball, continue to do what we do. But getting stops is huge. They're a talented team. They're going to hit shots, but the looks they were getting and the way they were getting their buckets, I feel like we can kind of control that a little bit better than we did in that third quarter, especially. So we're going to expect heavy pressure from them, physicality like it was tonight, and just continue to do what we do and get out there.
Matthew Cole's AP.
Besides the zone, it looked like they threw a lot of defensive coverages at you. Was it difficult to diagnose some of that, and how did you overcome it?
No, I think for me, I've said this before, being in the league, I know it's only been 4 years, but you see everything. I've seen every coverage. It's just a matter of me making the right reads. It's about how aggressive they are physically. You got Pat picking up full court. You don't have to play with the ball, Pat, there. Like simple mistakes that I've made myself that I don't make, that I can't make, especially in the playoffs. So I think for me, it's just a matter of finding my guys and us knocking down shots. And, sometimes the shots go in, sometimes they don't. But I think, seeing those different things and expecting them, I kind of knew that coming into the game, they're going to throw different looks. And, they're going to probably do the same thing again in Game 3. So just got to be ready and watch the film and do what I've instinctively do.
Andy Larson, Salt Lake Tribune.
Donovan, I know you say you're fine, but we see you limping out there, so I have to ask: is it pain? Is it soreness? Is it your knee? Is it your ankle? Kind of a thigh. Tell me, I guess, what's going on.
I got hit, and it hurt, but I'm fine now. I walked in here. If you want me to sprint for you, I can. I'm good. I think the biggest thing is just, shit happens. I'm thankful it wasn't bad, and move on and get ready for Game 3.
Ramona Shelburne, ESPN.
Hey, Jonathan, how are you? You've talked a lot about this year, about sort of what you learned from the experience last year when you guys were up 3-1, obviously against Denver and stuff. When they make a run in this game, and they actually take the lead there, does any of that help you there when you're up and you have it, and then all of a sudden they come back? Yeah, you sort of know how to dig in there.
Yeah, there's going to be adversity. We're not going to always blow teams out. It's the playoffs. It was great when being up 21, but at the end of the day, they executed like they should. They've been here before. You have guys who've been to the finals, been in the playoffs, have rings, have championships. So this is nothing they haven't seen before. So for us, it's like, okay, they made a run, but how do we counter that? And I give our group, I think when I came out at the 7-minute mark, like that group, going on that run, was huge. And I think not just for myself, but as a team, I think we understand how to handle these things, and I think that was what you saw tonight. And, I think definitely the experience from the bubble definitely helped. We understood, okay, this is what we're doing. Having flashbacks to certain instances, and we kind of relate, and having the same core group, we know exactly how these things work. So for us, it's continuing to do what we do and understanding they're gonna punch back, and we got to continue to fight and continue to do what we do.
Rebecca Harlow, TNT.
Hey, Donovan, you've talked about how much the game has slowed down for you, and obviously the playoffs are very intense, physical, all that stuff. But, this year with all of the playmakers that you have around you, how much has the pressure kind of also come off of you a bit? Are you having more fun with this team just hooping with these guys, despite the intensity of what these games mean?
Yeah, I think, what I make 1 shot in the fourth quarter and 2 in the second half. I think for me, it's I don't feel like I have to go out there and do everything. You know what I mean? And I think that's a credit to my teammates. Credit to what guys we have on this team, because they can go out there and make plays. Everybody has elevated their game each year. So for me, you look at the way Joe came out in the fourth, Bojan, JC. I don't feel like I have to go up there, walk it up, do everything, and there are times where I will have to do that. That's just part of my job. But, for me, it's great to have a group of guys that trust you and you trust, and you just go out there and play and have fun. And obviously it's the playoffs and this is a high intensity series, but at the end of the day, I'm playing the game I love. with guys that I really love and enjoy being around. So it makes, like I said, makes the journey fun. Ups and downs, it's going to keep happening, but we enjoy it. I enjoy it.
David James, KUTV.
Donovan, over the course of your career, you've probably had more big second halves than first halves, but you have had some big first halves. And I'm wondering how much of that is just the flow of the game, the shots come and you get hot, and how much of that is you thinking, now is the time I need to make a mark on the game?
That was my mindset. I'm going to continue to be aggressive and pick my spots, but I think tonight was just kind of like, let's go out there and try to be aggressive, and make the right plays. And those are the looks I got. And once you see a few go in, you start to feel good. But at the end of the day, I only took 2 free throws, which I'm pissed about, to be honest with you, because I feel like I could get to the line. I settled for a bunch of jump shots, and at the end of the day, that's really where I pride myself, is being able to make the plays and get it to the free throw line. And I can get my assist numbers up too, for sure.
We're going to go to Jacopo De Francesco from Around the Game, Italy.
Somebody playing good music right now.
Hi, Donovan. Congrats. Which one do you think has been your main point of emphasis on offense tonight?
I think trying to get downhill, but like I said, I didn't get to the free throw line enough. I was able to hit the 3-ball. I was able to hit shots, get into the mid-range, and based on how they were playing, make certain reads. But there are definitely things I can do better. I had 3 crucial turnovers. I pride myself in being able to take care of the ball when the ball's in my hands. So for me, just being aggressive. Tonight it was through the 3-ball. So it was the last game, but trying to get to the rim, trying to create and find those gaps, I think was what I kind of saw in film, and I'll continue trying to do.
All right, we have time for one last one. Tim McMahon, ESPN.com.
Donovan, what did you think about them going back or going to their big lineup to start the game, and how much does that kind of present an opportunity for you in terms of attacking and pick and roll with Rudy?
That's kind of what most teams do throughout the league. So I think if there was one defense I would say we're most comfortable with, it would be that, probably. So for us, it was just getting back to our roots. They started out small first game, so we worked for that. But like I said, like somebody said earlier, they threw a bunch of looks at us. But for me, it's just like finding ways to continue to be aggressive. I think I hit Big Fella one time on a roll. I got to be able to find him more. Be able to find him, be able to find my guys, and they're going to trap me, they're going to do certain things, so I got to be able to make those plays and make those passes. And, to start the game, they were dropped, so I went out there and did what I did, but, they switched immediately, so it's going to be so many different things you're going to see. And the part of the playoffs is just adjustments, so I got to make adjustments of my own and get ready for it.
All right, thank you so much, Donovan.
Anytime you're on a list with Karl Malone, that's normally a good list.
That is a good list. Let's take a look at social media. Highest point per game in playoff history. Hall of Famer Michael Jordan, Hall of Famer Allen Iverson, future Hall of Famer Kevin Durant, the logo Jerry West, future Hall of Famer LeBron James, and coming in right behind all of them, Donovan Mitchell. Zeke, your thoughts?
Hey, them are some straight bucket getters on that list. And if you on that list, hey, man, you can sleep well tonight.
No question
that is
about
awesome.
it. Let's take a look at the shot chart for Donovan Mitchell, who was extremely efficient, shooting over 50%. 37 points in this game, doing it in an array of offense all over the court. He did his thing. We're going to take a pause and we're going to listen to his teammate Joe Ingles, who had 19 of his own 4 threes. He's at the podium.
Jingles.
So Don and JC carried you guys offensively for a lot of the night, and then all of a sudden in that late fourth quarter stretch, you step up big, Royce hits a big shot, Boyan's big shot. Can you kind of just take us through that big closing 14-2 run late in the fourth, where the rest of you guys kind of took over?
Yeah, I mean, it's the beauty of our team, I think, and it has been all year, of different possessions, not necessarily like taking turns, but just kind of, I think Donovan and I said at one point, like, whoever Beverly's not on, bring it up and we'll get into something. Obviously he's pretty good on the ball. I think he stole that one off me one time. So just figuring out matchups and who's on who and who we want to attack and where we want to go at different times. So again, the beauty of our team is that we've got a lot of guys that can handle the ball and make plays and obviously make shots and stuff like that. So, it was just, again, reading the situation, reading the play, mismatches or the matchups that we want to try and find, and then being aggressive at the point of it.
Tony Jones, The Athletic.
Can you describe, just the resilience and the toughness that you guys showed today in the last two games to A, overcome, a night where you missed 21 consecutive shots, and B, overcome a third quarter where you guys just couldn't get anything done against the zone and still be able to hit back when you guys took some haymakers?
Yeah, even when we got up 16 or whatever that lead was at one point, the whole time out, obviously about staying focused and locked in and just knowing they are obviously going to score at some point for the rest of the game or quarter. We're not going to hold them to zero for the rest of the quarter. So just knowing that they're obviously a good team and they're gonna make a little run at some point, which they did. And the zone part, I think, we haven't seen zone for a long time. I think I said it this morning. We get better at things as kind of time goes on. And at the start of the zone, we weren't very, very good. I think we got a bit stagnant in it and kind of looking at Donovan to make a play each time. And as the quarter went on, or the time of the zone went on, we figured out some things. I think JC and Boyan hit a couple big shots to just kind of hold that lead a little bit. So obviously, now that we kind of know they did that, there's probably a good chance they'll do it again. So we'll be ready for it.
And Anderson, KSLSports.com.
Not to talk about the guy who's going to push you back to the bench, but what does it mean to get these 2 wins without Mike Conley?
Well, I'm gonna stand my ground and refuse to go back to the bench. What about that?
Good luck.
That'll be a waste of time. Again, I think I said this morning too, I'm more than happy to go back to the bench for a guy like that. It's what I've done all year. I've been in and out of that starting lineup a little bit. It's what I'm almost used to at different times. And when he comes back, I'll more than happily leave my jacket on for the first few minutes and give him a handshake and support him. So it's just almost that mentality of kind of next man up. He got in there a bit more tonight and stuff like that. So we've dealt with that. We've dealt with that for 7 years since I've been here, to be honest with you. Could name people each year that have missed time and guys who had to start or play different roles. So coach does a good job or the coaching staff and medical staff of having everybody ready at the time that they need to if guys need to step in and kind of pick up some load of a guy missing.
Ramona Shelburne, ESPN.
Hey Joe, how's it going?
Good.
Hey, you guys have the Defensive Player of the Year, and you got that award today for the game, and it's Sixth Man of the Year, your best record in the league. Just held serve at home in these 2 really close games. Are people starting to take you seriously now as an NBA championship contender? Is this the game where we start to believe this is your year?
You guys probably hear it or see it more than we do. You probably don't want my honest opinion because I really, really don't care what people think or what people say or think about our team. We've put in the work. We've put in the work for 7 years since Quinn took over to be in this position and be fighting for this. So it's been a process, and it's been Fave now as well, but Rudy and I were the last 2, and then obviously getting Fave back. So there's been a lot of different guys here, and we've kind of been building every year towards this. So we know within our locker room and this organisation what we've done to put ourselves in this position, and the confidence we've got to keep winning games and keep pushing and just keep kind of moving forward step by step. Whatever people want to say or write or talk about, I'm going to go home tonight and have a great sleep and get up tomorrow and take my kids to school, and whatever people want to talk about, they'll talk about. But for us, it's going to be, heading in tomorrow, we'll watch some more film and keep kind of pushing forward step by step. I know it's like the oldest cliche in the book, but it is one game at a time. We can't kind of look too far ahead, and we'll recover and get ready, and get ready for the next one.
Thanks, Jeff.
No worries.
Sarah Todd, Deseret News.
So did you know that Bojan could defend like this?
He's going to hurt himself, because now for 82 regular season games, he's going to have to pick up full court. Same with JC. JC was doing the same thing. So maybe he's just so much better offensively that he saves his energy to give him 30 or whatever. But I think he's done a good job. What's he been here? 2 years now, I think. His second year. So I think he's been, whatever you want to call it, underrated or not. I think sometimes people get, like, he is so good offensively that you just kind of, that's what, like, you think of Bojan and that's what you think. But he's been good for us for 2 years defensively. Everyone has slip-ups of, like, that's from top to bottom. Maybe we can take Rudy out of that list because he's 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, but at times everyone's going to have a mistake or anything like that. But if the effort's there and you know the game plan, and again, like, you throw Rudy behind and put him in the under the rim or wherever he is on the court, it helps everybody. I can't wait for game one next year when he has to pick up full court. But no, he's played great on both ends of the floor for us, and we'll keep it going for him.
All right, time for one last question. Maxime Legorge, a free agent.
Yes, my guy.
Yeah.
The free agent, Maxime.
What makes the difference in money time tonight?
In the what, sorry?
Money time.
Money time.
Money time.
Man, I love your questions. It kind of goes back to the earlier question of this build-up of 7 years. We've done the amount of hours and days we've spent going through late game situations, what we run in the last quarter, what matchups we want to attack and having guys in the right position to attack those matchups. We've been building and working on this for 7 years too. So I think we are very comfortable in those situations. It helps when you've got Donovan to make plays on the ball or with the ball. I think we've been good in a lot of those situations a lot of the time because we do. We work on it a lot. There's a segment of practice every day at the end that's kind of dedicated to late game situations, spacing. We talked about spacing for I don't know how long this morning, shoot around, but it's crucial in these games. A close game, last possession, last shot, whatever the situation is, you need to execute, and I think we generally do a pretty good job of that, and I think it is the time we spend on it, and then like I said, it helps having some pretty good players in those situations.
He is the straw that stirs the drink. Reggie Jackson hitting playoff home runs, the leading scorer for the Clippers.
Reggie, it seemed like for most of that second half, at least, you were kind of the guy that was going at Gobert and making them pay for having him out there defensively, making him stretch out the floor a bit more. Did you guys find something out there, I guess on both ends, with the zone you guys threw out there and then offensively with really attacking him?
I think we found something that we like. Honestly, it's a game of adjustments. We had to switch it up for a little bit. They were coming at us downhill attacking, so we went a little bit zone. Helped us out some, really allowed us to get matched up, try to make things tougher on them, make it more difficult shots. And then offensively, we wanted to make sure that we know that they're the home team. They're used to this altitude, but we wanted to make sure that they felt it too. So we wanted to get out as much as we could, get in transition, try to get out running, get some easy baskets. And, he's defensive player of the year for a reason. So try not to allow their defense to get set and allow them to funnel us down into him. which is what they're great at. They definitely try to take away threes and send you down the paint to Rudy. So we wanted to make sure we can attack before they get set.
We'll move over to Law.
Reggie, game one, you had those 4 fouls in the second half. You weren't even able to get a shot up. You didn't have any fouls in the second half in this one, and obviously you kind of helped lead that comeback. What was the difference for you defensively as far as, staying on the floor so you could contribute in the way that you were able to after halftime tonight?
Different refs. Had different refs. So it was ref differently, and they allowed me to play.
Okay, we'll move over to Miriam.
Hey, Reggie. So obviously you guys have come back.
Reggie Jackson had 29. Kawhi had 27. Now we'll go to him on the podium.
I guess by the standard you set in the first series, you haven't played up to, I guess, those standards in terms of your dominance on the court. Like, do you feel like you're I guess, putting your emphasis on the game the way you did in the previous series, or are you still looking to figure your way out through the series?
Got to take what the defense giving me, pretty much. We got enough talented players to make plays. I feel like I made the right plays tonight. Just unfortunately didn't go our way. I think we're doing a good job. It kind of got out of proportion in that third quarter. We just keep having bad third quarters. I think we got to do better on that.
We'll move over to Law.
Kawhi, despite the bad third quarter, y'all did recover and took that lead. Jazz called timeout, and then they hit y'all with that 14-2 run. What did Ty kind of tell you guys when y'all finally got the lead, and what was the challenge in maintaining it for that 3-4 minute stretch there?
Just pretty much keep doing what we're doing. Just keep being aggressive, keep trying to make plays out there, rebound the basketball, and execute.
Do you think that the challenge now going into game 3, obviously Donovan's been great, but you slowed him down. They have so many great shooters. In your mind, what is the balance between stopping him and trying not to get hit with 20 more threes in game 3?
I think we definitely have to.
Again, having to overcome that, and what do you think it's going to take?
We all got to put our will out on the floor. See what we did in the first 2 games and try to limit our mistakes and just keep going from there pretty much. We'll see tomorrow what we got to do, and, we got a lot of fight left, so, we're up for the challenge.
We'll move over to Justin Russo.
Hey, Kawhi, I was just curious. Foul trouble has kind of plagued you a little bit in the first 2 games. Do you think that's impacted your aggressiveness on either side of the floor at all?
At times when, I'm in there with 4 fouls, it's hard to, be as aggressive as you want to be on the defensive end, as well as offense. Don't want to get no silly. Rebound fouls, charges, illegal screens. A little bit, but, I got to do better with not fouling. So, I could stay aggressive and, play my game.
We'll move over to Mason.
Hey, Kawhi. What do you make of Reggie's performance tonight, and what's it like to have another guy out there that can take pressure off of you and PG in these situations?
He was great tonight. They let him play on the island. He stayed aggressive. He got to the paint. He made some big shots. He's been doing that for us all year.
Thanks, Kawhi. That's all I have for you.
Band.
You're welcome. How important is it mentally to win these 2 home games against a team like the Clippers? And I was also wondering, how do you feel about playing in front of an arena packed with fans rooting for your team? How do they impact on your game?
It's definitely a lot of energy. We're playing against a great team. We knew they were going to come out here and really compete and try to, get one here on our home court. But, we fought through. I think at one point we was up almost by 20. They came back through a little change in the game, and they made a run and got the lead back down. And biggest thing about us, we just kept playing, kept doing what we doing, running, spacing, and then we started getting stops. That was a big thing for us in the second half, late in the game as well. Big shots by Joe, Boyan, Donovan, all those guys were making plays toward the end of the game that helped us win that. But it's definitely great having fans in there. It's a different environment, super loud. Definitely ready for going into Staples and experiencing that as well.
David James, KSU.
Jordan Clarkson channeling his inner Bone Thugs and Harmony. Now here is Paul George.
Hey, Paul. You guys changed up your starting lineup today. Got Zubac back in there. What do you think it does for you when you have Zoo in the middle?
It just gives us size. And, just another screener to try to free up our shooters, myself, Reg, Kawhi, Marcus. It just gives us size out there.
Okay, we'll move over to the law.
Paul, it was obviously a struggle to defend Donovan in the first half. Team did better in the second half. Besides the scheme change, what do you feel like the team needs to do in order to carry that over to start Game 3?
Just continue to show physicality, and just be aggressive on them defensively. I think we did that more so in the second half. But I think we can start the game off just making it a little tougher on them.
Okay, we'll move over to Miriam.
Hey, Paul. What can you say about Reggie's sort of will, not just tonight, but throughout the season? He's really helped you in some resilient moments. What does that say to you? But a guy you know pretty well.
Reg is a scorer. It's no surprise. Him going on spurts where he can just flat out score. I've seen him do it. That's who he is. Reg always comes up big in those moments.
We'll move over to Shane Young.
Hey, PG, I'm just wondering, have you guys thought throughout these first two games that your offensive process and the shot quality has been good enough? Or because obviously Utah wants to funnel you down into the short mid-range and have Gobert contest. How have you thought the shot quality has been?
I thought it's been good. I think more so than anything, it's us making the correct reads. I think we're getting the defense to shift in ways that are favorable for us. But we just got to clean up the reads. We do have opportunities to hurt them when Gobert comes to help. So we'll look at it and we'll make the adjustments, try to find the right reads going into Game 3.
We'll move over to Justin Russo.
Hey, PG, this is your fourth straight game with at least 9 free throw attempts. This added impact of you getting downhill, is that where you kind of think the team needed the biggest boost from you, especially in a game like this?
It's just trying to attack. Be aggressive. I'm getting contact, they're crediting me for the attack. So, that's just what it is. Just trying to get to the free throw line. Get some easy, opportunities to score the ball.
We'll move over to Andrew.
Oh, Kawhi he just said that we have a lot of fight left. We're up for the challenge. And as you've clearly done this before, does that give you confidence in this 0-2 hole, or is Utah, because they're such a different beast than Dallas, does this feel like a little bit of a tougher hill to climb?
Well, we got to get him credit. This is a tough opponent. They weren't number one in the West for no reason. This is a tough team. But we're approaching this the same way Dallas was. We still feel we have a lot of possessions that we can clean up, and a lot of possessions that are hurting us, that's our fault. And so as good as they're playing, as good as this matchup is, as tough as this matchup is, we still feel like there's moments throughout this game, this series, that we're making plays that are self-inflicted, and so again, it's a lot of uphill, but we're optimistic that we can get this under control, go back home, and one game at a time, but try to tie this series up.
All right, thanks, Paul. That's all I have for you.
Paul George looking forward to going back home. They've only won one game at Staples Center so far this playoffs. However, that was a game that was important, Game 7. I digress. Let's look at the schedule. Looking ahead, Saturday, that is when Game 3 is. Game 4 is on Monday on TNT at 10. Welcoming you back into Studio B, the Hall of Famer Isiah Thomas. Brendan Haywood is here. So we're looking forward to Game 4. Zeke, hey, Game 3, I'm already ahead of myself. Game 3 on Saturday. Zeke, what are you looking to see from this quick Clipper squad when they get back home to L.A.?
Just how comfortable will they be at home? When you talk about going at home for the Clippers, the last playoff series, even though they won Game 7, it wasn't a comfortable feeling being at home for them. So can they establish some type of good feeling at home? That's what I'm looking forward to seeing.
Obviously, we don't know the status of Donovan Mitchell's ankle. He said that he was okay. We know that he missed 16 games towards the end of the regular season in that first playoff game. Do you think that's going to be a major factor as the playoffs continue to go on for Donovan Mitchell?
I'm not a doctor, and I don't claim to play one on TV, so I don't know how healthy Donovan Mitchell is or he isn't. But if he's healthy, obviously the Clippers have had no answer for him in the first couple of games, and they might have to do what they did in the Dallas series in key moments or for larger moments of the game. They're going to start putting Kawhi on them and get away from the switches.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. And your prognosis for Game 4, what do you expect to see?
Game 3?
Game 3. I keep them going to Game 4. I'm moving forward to Game 4.
Yeah, it's late, man. It's late.
It is.
Hey, trust me, we all struggled up here. It's late.
Game 3 on Saturday. Your thoughts?
Game 3, I'm thinking that the Clippers dig deep and find a way to win.
Indeed. Well, there it is. Well, that is the expert analysis that I know you've been waiting for. I know you are up late with us, so we appreciate you hanging out with us. That is a wrap. That is the two-time champion, Isiah Thomas. His name is Zeke. That's what we call him in the Big Petty. He's sleepy. Wake up, B. Wood.
Hey, I'm the Big Sleepy tonight.
The Big Sleepy.
I'm like G Hill out here.
Oh, man. Jordan Daddy.